to meet you, first of all. Thank you for coming. I hope to make a good speech. So, first of all, let me tell you who we are and why we decided to make this lecture. So, we are a company, we're a publisher who grew up from a very little company 3 years ago. We do everything almost ourselves, grew with very small investments. So we had to be creative in order to achieve this. Now we're a company of 60 people, and we have a game that is top 20 grossing in many countries, including Germany. We have around 20 million of downloads right now, and growing every month. And most of our traffic comes from video network. So video network is different. So it's not from Facebook, not from Google, but from different video networks. That's why we decided to make this presentation. So this video network that we worked with, and actually I'll be talking about general principles that are applicable, applicable to most of the networks. And actually, why we decided to make this presentation, because I talked too much about with different developers, small, big one. And while big one and big publisher always know how to do marketing and maybe know much better than we do, but there are a lot of small companies, middle companies who never tried video networks or tried and failed. And I think that if I explain the basic principles and the basic tricks, more people can succeed. So first of all, before I start the whole presentation, can you please raise your hands who ever worked with video networks? So actually, and please raise your hands who never worked with video networks. So just half to half, I think, and half of people don't raise hands in any case. Okay, so I'll briefly start with the very basic stuff. What is video network, how it works? The thing is that there is different advertisers. Like if you buy traffic, you're an advertiser, and different publishers. Publishers are those guys who sell traffic. Actually, it's different games or different applications. Sometimes it could be the same guys who buy and sell. And in the middle is a video network. The interesting stuff about this is that video network uses different pricing model when you buy and when you sell traffic. Because when you buy traffic, you mostly pay for installs. Most of the networks work on a CPI model. While when you sell traffic, when you monetize on ads, you sell traffic based on impressions. So, or at least what the network shows you is eCPM. So effective cost per mile or effective cost per 1,000 of impression. And to combine these two pricing models, there is a very simple equation. I think most of you know it. Is basically eCPM just equals cost per install multiplied by number of installs you get per 1,000 of impression. And that's it. So what is the situation of the market? The situation of the market is that demand is almost unlimited. There are a lot of budgets that companies can't spend. So, and the competition for traffic is very fierce, while the supply, the amount of traffic, is limited because we have a limited number of people who play with a limited number of hours and a limited number of impressions. So it's a market of supply, and we have to fight fiercely with these guys. And and what tries to do video network to compete for publishers? They try to maximize eCPM. They try to make such algorithms to make this figure highest. So in this example, if all the advertisers will pay the same price for install, the video networks will give the priority to those who have more installs per 1,000 impression. So not only your bid influences, but also influences your IPM. Let's go further. What is interesting that you have something like average eCPM for your creatives and so on and so forth, but your eCPM, your IPM will be very different among different publishers. So if, for example, if you have, sorry, this not dollars, this just figures. So for example, some advertiser has an average five installs per 1,000 impression. But among different pub, it could be from 1 or even 0 to 30. So the difference is huge. And this advertiser will get most of the traffic from those sources where he has like the highest IPM, especially if the bid is the same for country for different pubs. So can I ask you, if something not clear, or if you have questions right now, you can raise your hand and ask a question in any time of the presentation after each slide, okay? So let's go further. The interesting thing that at the end, your game will be competing not with the whole game, all other games, but mainly with the games in your genre, because you'll be mostly competing with the games of your genre and getting traffic from the games of your genre, because the highest IPM you get for a similar audience, and similar audience play the similar games. So if you do, let's say, idle game, you'll be competing with other idlers mainly, and you'll be getting traffic mainly from idols or other casual games close to idle. And now it's the principle of waterfall. I think most of you know it. Who doesn't know what is waterfall and how it works? Everyone knows it. So the main interesting stuff is that not only volume depends on your position, but also quality. So if you have a low position in a waterfall, if your impression will be shown like the number 20 or 16, you'll get not only very, very low volume, but you also get a very bad lifetime value from these publishers. So it ends up that in order to get good return on investments and in order to get good LTV from publishers, you should be at least in top 10 for the publishers, for your main publishers. And it means that your game, in fact, should be in top 10 in your genre, or at least in top 10 in some countries for LTV or creatives. So in any case, if you want to buy traffic, your game should be good and good enough. What is interesting and what tricks I'll try to tell you. So your position is determined, of course, by eCPM. But the thing is, it's determined not by real eCPM. It's determined by expected eCPM. And expected eCPM is calculated by network. And it takes into account a lot of variables that you don't know. But some of them are publisher IPM, country IPM, creative IPM, and campaign IPM. So it all influences expected eCPM. Is it clear right now? OK. Let's go further and understand how we work with this and how we increase our positions, our volumes, and lifetime value in the main geos, in the main countries and the main pubs where we want to do this. So first, my advice is when you start to work with a network, or when you start to do the campaign, try to start with the Tier 3 countries. Why Tier 3 countries? Because mostly on all the games that we tried, Tier 3 countries has twice or even 3 times high IPM. And your creative or campaign will get a good history. And when you switch it or add good countries, such as United States, and all of us actually try to compete for United States mainly, and other Tier 1 countries, you'll get better position than you deserve. The same thing is try to mix in one campaign or use the same creative for Tier 1 and Tier 3 countries. Because this is the table you can see it. So actually, in this case, you'll sacrifice talent for United States. Of course, the algorithm won't take this figure, but it figure will influences the IPM in the United States, and you get slightly higher position. But this slightly high sometimes can make a good result. Another thing, it's the most painful thing, but we have to do it. If we start to buy, especially the first time on video networks, and have a data about our LTV in a certain country from organic, we need to put bits 2 or 3 times higher. Or even if you know that from this video network, you get like $5 for United States, start from 6, 7, 8. Because when you start, you need to get a lot of traffic, you need to get, from the beginning, a good position, and you need to get a good position on the best publishers. And for the best publishers that deliver the highest LTV will be the highest competition. The other guys will be beating these publishers higher. So that's it. So when you start, be ready to lose first 10K. You'll lose it for sure. Just be ready for this. But then after a few weeks, if you collect the data, get a good positions, optimize, you'll get to the profit, and profit will last for years. Okay. Another tip is very simple. Just use creatives, try a different one. But if you are not a huge company, don't try to put 10 creatives at the same time. Put few. Then choose the best one and put another few. Because if you use too many creatives at the same time, there is a high chance that some creatives don't get impressions just because of the luck. Okay. So, and when you analyze creatives, don't look only for IPMs. Look for the volumes. Because different creatives could work differently on different pubs. And at the end, what you want, you want volumes and positions. Okay? So, of course, everyone heard for playables. Sometimes they work better than video, sometimes not. On some networks, they beat the videos. On some networks, not. For example, in our cases, the same playable competing with the same video on one network, video performs like twice better. On another network, playable performs twice better. I don't know why this magic exists. And sometimes you can use playable as end card. It's like you finish the video, and then you can play the game a little bit. And this is a very good tip. And we many times, we failed a lot to get this tip. If some campaign or some structure works good, it delivers a good amount of traffic, good ROI, just don't touch. Don't add anything. Don't exclude anything. Only what you can do is a little bit, maybe increase the bits or for some paths, but don't change the structure. Don't restart the campaign if they work well. But if it's not, start from the beginning. Sometimes try to test creative a few times, because sometimes it's just bad luck that some creative work worse than other. And especially if you know then on a Facebook, on a Google, or other video ad network, you have the best creative, and in one network it doesn't work, try a few times to launch this creative. Okay, then let's go to the slide how we can analyze the data. Because when you start to buy traffic, of course, you need to analyze and like a lot of numbers, what to look for, and so on. If you want to buy successfully, you need to build a prediction model. Prediction model means that knowing your revenue, like for the last 7 days, you should know what it will result in a few months. And when you optimize the traffic, you should look not on a factual revenue, but on a predicted. And as you can see in this example, it could be quite close to real example. The predictions are much higher than factual revenue. And of course, the less period you have, if it's like the last week, you'll multiply your revenue much like by bigger figure than if you already have data for a month. Okay, so and when you're building your lifetime LTV model, of course you need to have a data. You can have data from organic. You can have data maybe like from any other networks and so on. But when you build this ratio to predict, take into account then on different platforms, this ratio could be very different, and for different group of countries. And you have to discover yourself which countries like have the similar ratios and which not. And the last thing is you can find out that there is a correlation on some platforms with organic. Sometimes you can see correlation on one platform but don't see another. And for different games, this correlation could be different, and the amount of organic you get on top of your paid traffic could be also different. And it could be even different in different countries. So please take this into account. Then, when you analyze your data, especially when you don't have too many data, look on the percentage of people who pays more than on LTV, because it's more stable, it less fluctuate, and if you have less data, it will be more accurate than lifetime value. Of course, you need to analyze each pub separately, because not only your IPM differs on pubs, but your LTV could differ 10 times or 20 times. And of course, in different countries, it could be different. This one is like just the statistics. If you don't have 100 installs per pub and per country group, you have no data. It's just a game of luck, whether you have high LTV or low LTV. You need to get data to make decisions. If you have a lot of small pubs, you can analyze all together, like top 10 pubs and all others, just to understand the whole picture. I think everyone knows like whitelist, blacklist. If like bad pubs, you exclude them, you don't buy them. If good pubs, you put them together and make higher bids. Some networks has bid per pub system when you have one campaign, but different bids for different pubs. So for example, for one game, you put $20 in US, for another game, $1, and it's inside one campaign. So that's it. Good luck. Thank you for attention, and